Is going to the Ohel and saying Yechi a contradiction?
I think what people mean when they ask this question is that to say that the Rebbe is alive and go to the Ohel, is that a contradiction? And the answer is no. Let me explain. The basis of saying such words that the Rebbe continues to live, of course, is based on the Rebbe's his own sichos, his very own talks, the way he spoke about the previous Rebbe, that even after his passing, he's here and he's alive. And the Rebbe based his words on Gemara, where the Gemara says, in reference to Yaakov Avinu, Yaakov lo mes, Yaakov never died. And it says the same in reference to Moshe Rabbeinu, Gemara Soita, that Moshe lo mes. And people say, how could you say such a thing? But there was a funeral. How could you say that? And the answer is, well, that's exactly what the Gemara is saying. In the Gemara it says that there's a explicit pasuk, verse in the Torah, where it says that Yaakov was buried. So why did they bury him? Why did they embalm him? Why did they eulogize him if he's alive? And the Gemara, knowing the fact that Yaakov was buried, still maintains that Yaakov lo mes. Of course, there's a lot of details to this, and it needs much more time, but just the general meaning of this is, the facts are facts. Yaakov was buried. But the Gemara reveals to us that the meaning is not, what happened was not the opposite of life. And the same is with Moshe Rabbeinu. It's interesting, if one would look at the commentary of the Rambam to Mishnayos, and to look in his introduction, he writes that on the seventh day of Adar, something happened to Moshe Rabbeinu, which appeared as if he passed away. In other words, the reality is that these facts did happen, but the meaning of what happened was not the opposite of life. So what kind of life is it? What is he doing? How is he functioning? And the answer is, of course, we don't understand, because we're talking about something which is totally, completely beyond the realm of nature, and something which is only found by selected tzaddikim, not even by every tzaddik. And also, it's interesting to note that even when the tzaddik, like Moshe Rabbeinu or Yaakov Avinu, or other tzaddikim of this caliber, were alive and functioning, and we saw them, we also didn't really know how they're living. We thought we knew, we thought we understand. There's a famous story with Reb Nachum of Chernobyl, one of the greatest students of the Majeski Maggid, and a great tzaddik in his own right, that his students once said to him, "We'd like you to show us a hidden tzaddik." So he said, "Look at me." And they said to him, "And you're not a hidden tzaddik, you're a revealed tzaddik." And his answer was, "Woe to me if I was what you see." Which obviously means that what he was and what he was involved with was way, way, way beyond anything we can see and we can comprehend. There's also a famous story with Rabbi Adam Baal Shem. It's about the story of how the Baal Shem Tov, who refused to reveal himself, initially he was a hidden tzaddik, and Rabbi Adam Baal Shem was chosen to be the one to encourage him that he must reveal himself, the time has come. And there's a lot of details to the story. But one of the details is an interesting detail, where he writes that he was in shul, listening to the reading of the Torah, and while he was there, Achi Shiloni, who used to study Torah with him, who was Achi Shiloni? He's a prophet that lived in the times of Eliyahu Hanavi and even earlier. And he studied Torah with him, and he walked into the shul, and he notified him that after Shabbos, they're going to be going on a trip. Nobody saw a thing. Nobody heard a thing. They saw him listening to the Torah reading like everybody else. So we can understand how tzaddikim live. We have any idea what they're experiencing or what they're doing. It says in reference to the Baal Shem Tov, and again it's based on Gemara, where the Gemara says that tzaddikim really live in two worlds. They live down here, and they also live up there. That the Baal Shem Tov, during the week, he was 2/3 in this world, and one third he was in heaven. On Shabbos, he was 2/3 in heaven and 1/3 in this world. So it's a different kind of life completely. And therefore, even though one goes to the Ohel, yes, there was something, and because of that, there was a need to go to the Ohel. Something occurred, but what occurred is not the opposite of life. And Yaakov lo mes. And just like it applies to Yaakov, to Moshe, to Rabbeinu HaKadosh, and all the others, that's how it applies to the Rebbe. Also, I would think that some people are referring to maybe the announcement of Yechi. When people say Yechi Adonai Mareinu Rabbeinu Melech HaMashiach Leilam V'ed. And that's what they're referring to. But the truth is that if you would look at the source of that, the Rebbe is the one who initiated to announce Yechi HaMelech. And that is in the famous Sicha of Beis Nisan Tavshim Memches, 1988. And the Rebbe says that by saying these words, it has a tremendous spiritual power to it. And it brings, these are the Rebbe's words, Hikitzu v'rananu sheichni ofar, v'hikitzu v'rananu David Malka Mashiach. That this brings the awakening of Melech HaMashiach. So if anything, of course the words of Yechi are relevant and powerful now, even though at the same time one could go to the Ohel. But we know that the Rebbe is here, he's alive in a hidden way, and what we're saying is it should be revealed and take us out of Golos, take of Miyad Mamish.